I hope you are as excited as I am for this episode, because from what I've heard, things are gonna happen in this episode, so yeah. Hey guys, it's your Bo the Doggo, and welcome back to Adastra, episode 20. In the last episode, Cassius was poisoned, and we don't know if he died or not. He was probably taken to the hospital, and from how everything played out, it most likely was Kato. And Alex might have had something to do with it as well, but he didn't seem happy about it and didn't seem to be in on it. So Kato poisoned Cassius and blamed us for it, threw us into Amiko's room and locked the door. And yeah, the episode ended with us jumping from the balcony into the water, because we are gonna go and rescue Amicus and help him take his rightful place on the throne once and for all. So I guess that's what's going to happen in this episode, because I've heard that people are looking forward for this episode, that things are gonna go down now. So yeah, I don't want to drag this out anymore. Gonna do as I've done the other episodes where I record without suit. So yeah, let's go. I plunged into the water with a splash, the cold taking my breath away in an instant. Immediately, I realized the mistake of jumping into the lake with a heavy robe. I'm able to kick out of the loose-fitting garment within a few seconds' thought, and I start swimming around the edge of the balcony, toward the shore. It's not that far, but I start to worry as I feel my arms and leg burn from the strain, and even though the beach is right in front of me, it seems to take longer than it should for my feet to touch the ground. Just as I feel my limbs start to give out, I feel the sandy bottom of the lake against my toes. I gasp with relief, struggling through the deeper end of the shallows before stumbling on my hands and knees, forcing myself to move forward until I reach the beach. Even now, in this moment of desperation, I have to lay out in the sand for a moment, gasping for breath as I feel my numb limbs slowly come back to life. I suppose all of the anxiety and no food all day have left me feeling weak. I finally realized how exposed I am out here, how easy it would be for someone to see me from the gardens, or even from the windows of the palace. With a grunt, I force myself to roll over and start crawling for the tree line in the garden so that I can at least have some cover. As I crouch there just in my underwear, still trying to catch my breath, I realize how quiet it is out here. Again, it's a striking contrast to how violently things had changed just hours ago. Finally, after a deep breath, I start pushing my way through the gardens, walking through the foliage rather than using the paths. I doubt anyone's taking a garden stroll, considering what's happened, but the one thing I've learned is that no one is predictable here. So I try to keep hidden, using the large exotic-looking plants as covers before leaping across the path and ducking into the plant life again. As I get closer to the palace, I try to think about how I'm going to do this. With any luck, no one else is actually in the palace. It would make sense after what happened. If anyone is in the palace, I just have to hope that there aren't Kato. There's also the problem of actually getting Amicus out of the dungeons. While I might be blind to Kom, Amicus definitely isn't. I need to get Neferu. He would definitely know what's happened by now. Maybe we could come up with a plan if he doesn't have one already. He always seems to know what to do. Well, usually. I just have to hope that something hasn't happened to him. So as I come up to the palace entrance, I look around, the quiet starting to become unnerving. I don't see anyone, so, swallowing hard, I jog through the entrance of the palace. The cool air of the hallway hits my damp skin and makes me shiver, both from the cold and the tension. I'm sure to keep close to the walls, always looking ahead to a doorway or a pillar that I can duck behind in case I see someone. Luckily, that doesn't happen, and I'm more and more convinced that no one is actually here. And before I know it, I'm coming up to the hall that holds Neferu's room. My breathing quickens as I get closer to the door, knowing that I'll feel a lot better if I can just have some guidance. Even though I've been here for a while and gotten used to the way of things, I'm completely out of my element now. I make it to the door and reach out, pressing the panel to slide it open. The room is empty. I stare for a moment, as if doing that will make the jackal magically appear back in its bed where I last saw him. Then I see something on the floor. Green shards of shattered glass, wine bottles knocked from the table to the floor. An ominous feeling starts to blossom in my chest as I notice the purplish red stain among the glass, the spilled wine dried from how long it's been there. I swallow again to wet my throat, looking to the ceiling, about to call out to Koma and ask for Nefarious location before stopping myself. I don't know if actually alerting Koma to my location is a good idea. I'm pretty sure that the security portion of the AI is separate from the rest of Koma, but I don't want to chance it. So I stand there for a moment, unsure what to do now. I could go around the palace looking for the jackal. He could be anywhere, really. But seeing the glass and knowing what happened, I'm just denying what's obvious here. I just have to hope that he's okay, wherever he's been taken. I lean against the frame of the door for a moment, trying to think of what to do next. I could look for Virginia, but I have no idea where her room might be. And besides, if the state of Nefarious' room is anything to go by, I wouldn't be surprised if she'd been taken somewhere against her will as well. Kato probably knows everything about what we were planning. There's really no choice but to go into the dungeons, tell Amicus about what happened, and then maybe he'll know what to do. And just as I'm turning to go back into the hall though, I hear footsteps. I quickly draw back into the room, reaching up to the panel to shut the door again. Before I do though, I hear something else. The sound of muttering in a very familiar voice. I linger just inside the room, listening as the voice draws closer. Oh dear! Oh Galen, it is too much! Too much! I grit my teeth, listening as the cat comes closer, sounding like he's alone. I suddenly make up my mind as what I'm going to do next. I'm going to be killed! I'm going to be killed! What was I thinking? At that moment, the cat passes the door. He got his paws up to the side of his face, too busy staring at the ground to even notice me. He's close enough that all I have to do is reach out and grab him by the straps of his robe before yanking him into the room as hard as I can. Immediately, the cat shrieks, the sound bending comically with the force of my tug. I swing him around towards the middle of the room before turning around to quickly shut the door. Alex is still yelling as he tumbles to the ground, rolling several times before coming to a stop next to the shattered bottles. He curls up there, covering his face as he cowers on the ground. Wait! I'm sorry for whatever it is that I did! The cat continues to grovel before finally peeking through his paws to look up at me. He goes quiet, though remaining fetal, as if deciding if he should still be scared or not. Suddenly, he seems to make up his mind and quickly stands, brushing off imaginary dust as he fixes his face into one of bland disinterest. Oh, Bo, I thought you might be someone else. My apologies. I glare. What reasons did you have for grabbing me so roughly? No more bullshit from you. What the hell is going on? The cat finally stops fidgeting and faces me, though he doesn't make eye contact, staring at the door behind me instead. Well, I'm sure you already know that, don't you? I'm surprised Kato let you out, to be honest. Something about Alex's demeanor, not the way he's acting now, but the way he's been acting the past month, gets to me at that moment. I step forward suddenly, and though I want to hit him, I settle with just giving him a hard shove in the chest that sends him stumbling back with the noisy slapping of his sandals on the stone floor. What the fuck, Alex? He windmills his arms, trying to catch his balance, and when he finally does, he brings his paws up to his chest, his ears pinned back and claws unsheathed. I don't know if Alex is any good at fighting, but I'd rather not get raked by those things, so I hold off on giving him another shove. Besides, he's looking scared again, staring at me wide-eyed. Don't touch me! I grit my teeth, forcing myself to not do it again. Then tell me what it is you're doing! Why did you do this? What? This time I step forward and raise my fist threateningly, and immediately the cat covers his face, cowering. I realize then that Alex probably doesn't have any fighting skills at all. That he might actually be a coward, rather than just pretending to be one. This realization cools my desire to really hurt the cat. Instead, I just wait again, until Alex lowers his paws, looking at me with fear. I guess that's a good thing. Amicus had told me in the past that a few of the sapient primates in the galaxias are really only known for a few things. One, that they can't swim, and the other being their incredible strength. I suppose it's a good reputation to have, even though it's not true for humans, but Alex wouldn't know that. I take another threatening step forward. Tell me! Alright! I'm surprised by the cat's sudden exclamation, his eyes screwed shut as he raises his paws to his head fur, tugging at it in distress. I'll tell you whatever it is you want, just leave me alone! I'm tired of this goddamn palace and psychopathic walls and all half-developed children! I ignore that jab at me, staring at the cat, waiting. I'll probably be deported soon anyway. if not executed. The cat's voice catches in his throat, and he raises a paw to his mouth, seemingly about to cry again. He really is scared, and that gives me an idea. Okay, Alex, listen to me. I'm trying to help Amicus to his rightful place on the throne. Maybe if you help me out, and Amicus does become emperor, I can work something out for you. You know how close the two of us are. I wait as he tries to gather himself, clasping his paws together before simply looking at the ground. He doesn't say anything though, so I sigh. Why did you tell Kato about our plan? Alex echoes in my sigh, looking away off to the end. There's a lot of Galaxia's politics that you wouldn't understand, Bo. Well, simplify it for me then. I might be half developed, but I think I'm starting to get a hang of how things work around here. And if I tell you, you will help me leave this cursed moon? I grit my teeth. Yes. Alex side-eyes me before shaking his head. I became a pet for a single reason, not for ambassadorial or Adastra Omophora relations, not even to gather intelligence. I mean, originally it was my purpose, but I became close to Cassius over the course of several official meetings and dinners. My department took notice and altered my assignment. The cat goes quiet again. Alright, then what are you here for now? Alex takes a deep breath and looks me in the eye. Chaos. I wait, but that's all the cat says. I frown at him. You're here to create chaos? Alex's voice suddenly becomes monotonous. An unstable government creates an unstable society. Progress is stalled and outward endeavors turns inwards. The society worries less about what's happening outside the boundaries, while becoming more concerned with their own issues. It's like he's reciting something that I heard many times before. Thinking about it, the explanation seems to have some reason to it. Alex's seemingly senseless decisions, shifting alliances, and general odd behavior could be explained by this. He's only here to make things more difficult for the wolves to integrate back into the Galaxias, to prevent them from progress out of the technological and economical slump they're currently in. That was kind of what I thought Alex's deal was. So, yeah. I was almost right. He's not just against me, Amicus, Cassius, or even Kato, but rather all of us. I think about the billowing smoke over Adastra City, what's probably happening into a dozen cities right now, and I suddenly feel an overwhelming feeling of disgust for the cat in front of me. A lot of things has happened on this moon that bothered me, but this particular act of sabotage is probably the worst. Just something about how careless it is, not knowing what will even happen, just that it would hurt the Empire. The people. Alex sees the look on my face and quickly takes a step back, looking away. I understand that it might seem harsh, but it is my duty to Omophora and the Galaxias as a whole to keep us safe from Adastra. If you knew the history... I assume you started the rumors about the triumvirates and then pinned it on me? I may have started the rumors, but I never implicated you. But you knew it would happen. Alex opens his mouth and then shuts it, looking away again. And after I woke up in the gardens, told you about the doctor, you probably told Kato about our relationship then too. Alex frowns deeply, taking another step back, looking almost like a child that got caught for doing something wrong. I feel my face grow hot, not really confidence anymore that I will be able to hold myself back from caving this cat's face in. Maybe later, but this isn't important right now, even if this creature in front of me is responsible for half of my troubles, if not all of them. Where is Nefero? Or Virginia? Alex looks surprised for a moment, and then suddenly shifts in conversation. Well, Virginia is to be married to Kato later today. What? My stomach lurches at that, but before I can even start to comprehend what that means, Alex goes on. As for Nefero, well, you don't know? I've been locked in Amicus' room all day. I don't know anything. Well, Nefero is scheduled to be executed, I think. I stare. What? When? I'm not completely sure. I woke up alone in the dining room and saw it on the news channels. No, when is he being executed? I don't know. It was going to be sometime today. But it hasn't happened yet, right? I don't... Come! I cut Alex off, not caring anymore about alerting Com to my location. Yes, Bo? Has Nefero been executed? There's a pause. For a moment, all I can hear is my heartbeat hammering in my ears, and for a surreal moment, I feel like I'm going to pass out, and I have to square my stance to make sure that I don't go falling over. The pause seems longer than normal, like Com is having trouble finding the information that I asked for. Then, here is what I found. The execution of Nefero, the pharaoh's second son, is to take place in the Royal Amphitheater on the 14th hour for crime of espionage and conspiracy to murder Emperor Cassius. The execution will be broadcast live on all public channels. How much time until the 14th hour? 14 minutes and 31 seconds. Shit! What the hell am I supposed to do? That's not enough time at all! Even if I can get to Amicus, I can't get him out in time before...
The cat.
I turn my eyes on Alex, and he immediately backs away again, trembling. Can you get Amicus out of the dungeons? In that moment, I almost slap him, but I stubbornly forces my shaking hands to stay at my sides. Can you fucking get him out or not? I think so! Cassius gave me almost unlimited access to com security! My heart leaps in my chest. Then go down there and get him the hell out! I turn to the door, but notice Alex is still frozen in the same place. The look on my face makes him cringe again. Yes, but you won't let him in prison or execute me if I do! Alex, I will fucking kill you right now if you don't fucking do what I tell you! The cat jumps and yelps as I scream at him, scrambling to head out of the door with me hot on his heels. The cat was at least right about one thing. I would never be able to be a diplomat if that's what he really is. I follow as closely to the cat as possible, practically stepping on his heels. Alex is clearly aware of it. As his ears twitch back and forth nervously, trying to inconspicuously glance back at me every now and then. Halfway to the dungeons though, the PSA system crackles over our heads. Citizens of Adastra, please prepare for an imperial address by Emperor Kato. Alex looks back, but I force him to keep going with some prodding in his back, praying that maybe this would have to do with the execution, or that Kato might be cancelling it altogether. Of course, that is not the case.
Citizens, it is a momentous day in our long history of our glorious moon.
I shove at Alex back again. Just run! Alex does as he's told, though is still not as fast as I'd like to go.
After 10,000 years, we are finally choosing our own path. We are taking control of our own destiny.
I'm beginning to realize that after waiting for so long, unsure what my own destiny might be, it's going to be decided today, no matter what the outcome might be.
And that begins with showing our fellow siblings that we will no longer tolerate their belittling, their false sense of superiority, their arrogance.
Alex and I come to the door that leads us down to the dungeon, and the cat awkwardly starts climbing down the ladder, having a great deal of trouble with his robes.
And we especially will not tolerate spies, which I have kneeling before me as I speak.
Hurry! I yell at the cat as I start sliding down the ladder myself, almost knocking him off as I reach the ground at almost the same time.
The officer of false alliances, the whore of jackals, the flower of Chemia.
I follow the stumbling cat through the musty hall of the dungeons, never having been this deep before, considering my meeting with Amicus had always been taking place near the entrance. We reach a cell door, and Alex presses a paw to the panel on the wall, a beech marble slab rather than the more glossy black panels above. It opens to a small cramped cell, a bed in one corner, a sink, toilet, and a tiny shower in the other, and what looks like a desk near the door. Amicus is in the bed, curled up to his side, facing away from us. Amicus! I shove roughly past Alex, sending him smack face first against the doorframe with a yelp. The big wolf starts to stir before I reach him and throw my arms over him. I feel him jump underneath me, and I know that I've just woken him up. He turns his head to look at me. Bo? He sits up against my hugging, automatically wrapping his arms around me. Wait, how did you? He looks over my shoulder. Alex? Amicus, Kato is emperor! He is about to execute Nefero! You need to... I choke on the words, only now feeling the weight of information I'm just dropping on Amicus right now. You need to challenge him in combat! I surprise myself as I suddenly start to cry, realizing my own words as I say them. In that moment, I can see all the confusion, bewilderment and shock in my wolf's face, his mouth hanging open just slightly. He probably wants to ask me a million questions, but in that space of a few seconds, I see his expression set in one of serious determination. Alright, where is he? The sudden shift of confusion and sense of duty and confidence actually stops my crying, even as the first tears spill over. The amphitheater is happening right now! For just a moment, the wolf continues to hold me, wipes a tear away with his thumb, then gently moves me aside as he swings his leg over the edge of the bed. Alex, can I leave the dungeon?
Come? Let Amicus leave the dungeons. Please?
Alex looks up at the ceiling, clearly unsure what he's doing. Shall I remove Amicus from the prisoner list, Alex?
Yes.
It's done. At that moment, I suddenly realized then that Kato isn't being broadcast down here. I don't even know if the execution has been carried out yet or not. Amicus hops off the bed. Alright, we must move. This time, Alex is knocked on his ass as Amicus practically steamrolls him over on his way out of the door. I jump over the cat as I follow the wolf. Though much bigger, Amicus is still just slightly faster than I am as I sprint after him, his thudding footfalls echoing through the halls. He yells back at me as I follow. What for Cassius?
Poison! I don't know what his condition is right now.
I gasp out the answer, and I can't see his face as Amicus is silent, continuing to run. We reach the ladder, and Amicus somehow climbs the thing with 3 gigantic lunges, skipping several rungs at a time. By the time I reach the top, he's already out of sight.
So now, let this be a warning to Kimia or any other sibling race.
I run out into the garden, in the direction of the amphitheater. I just catch a sight of Amicus' tail as it disappears around some trees, down the trail that leads to where Kato should be.
We will not hesitate to eliminate you if you meddle in our matters.
There's a sense of finality to those words, and I know that we're out of time. I'm on the path to the amphitheater, and though it only takes a few seconds to make it to the end, it feels like an eternity.
You are on the right path.
I burst through the clearing of the amphitheater, just as I hear Amicus yell.
Stop!
I look down to the steps to see my wolf standing at the base of the stairs, his paws out wide, standing in front of Neferu and Kato. The jackal is knelt on the ground, his paws restrained by his back somehow, a look of dazed disbelief on his face. His face is forced to look up because Kato has a hold of his head fur, tilting the jackal's head up so that his neck is fully exposed. In Kato's other massive paw is a shiny, gold, decorative dagger, and is just inches away from Neferu's neck. Meanwhile, directly in front of me, sitting in front of the statue of Drusus, a wreath of flowers on her head, looking shocked as she stares at her brother.
I challenge you, Kato. I challenge you to a trial by combat for the throne, as is my birthright.
It's always hard to judge Kato's facial expression, but I can see the tightness of his jaw all the way from up here.
Who?
Kato glances upwards, and for a moment I wonder if he somehow knows that I'm there, that he can see me. But then I notice the camera drones hovering overhead, broadcasting this to all of Adastra. The entire Empire is seeing this.
Why don't we wait until I'm finished, Amicus?
It would be wise to stay your paw, Kato. Unless you're afraid you will lose a trial?
The corner of Kato's scarred eye twitches. I can tell then that Amicus is playing all of this up to the cameras, and that seems to settle it for Kato. With a grunt, he pulls Neferu up to his feet by his head fur, making it the jackal wince, before shoving him toward the front seat, where Neferu slumps down. Then, the old wolf walks past Amicus, setting the dagger down on the long, curved bench as well, across the aisle from Neferu.
You know what, Amicus? I think you're right. This is something we should do immediately. We don't want to leave the Emperor in limbo for any longer, do we?
Amicus watches the other wolf warily as he walks around him to stand in the center of the amphitheater.
It's best to settle everything as soon as possible.
I know that Kato is referring to all of us. Cassius, Virginia, Neferu, me, and I'm sure that Amicus does too, because he glances back up at me just for a moment.
Then let us settle it.
Slowly, I start to make my way down the steps, glancing over at Virginia to see that she's sitting completely straight, staring at Kato and Amicus, her paws clenched in her lap. I move toward Neferu, who is sitting on the front bench, hunched over a bit, and I can see metal glinting where his arms are held back.
All right then, Trial by combat. Simple pugno with no weapons. Just teeth and claws.
Kato stretches.
I'll give you the advantage of sight, amicus. This should be no trouble for you at all, huh?
Even though that's true, Kato still seems very, very confident. And he has every right to be, considering his skill at fighting, along with the fact that the amicus has been locked up for several days in a cramped cell. He probably only said that to increase the humiliation if amicus loses. If he dies. It's then that I start to feel the dread of terror begin to poke through the numbed shock that I've been feeling. But somehow, amicus looks completely calm, and I take some sort of comfort in that. Quietly, I sit down next to Neferu, and he glances over at me.
Oh, Bo, what brings you here?
Though his words are casual, his usual smug demeanor is gone, practically blanked out as he sits there, slightly hunched. Are you okay? I whisper to him, and Neferu takes that as his cue to do so as well. The jackal shrugs his shoulders. Not exactly, no, but I'm alive for the time being, so I suppose I can't ask for much more. I look back into the amphitheater, wishing that I were able to do something more. I try to catch Amicus' eye, but he keeps his focus on Kato, his own eyes narrowed. He looks confident, prepared, ready for whatever it is that Kato throws at him. But I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. That brief interaction in the dungeon, those few seconds of holding on one another, that could be the last time we ever... I blink back tears again, knowing that it won't do me any good right now.
Are you ready, amicus?
Yes.
Then let us begin.
Immediately, the two wolves begin to circle each other, paws raised up to their chests, open and ready. The only difference from past pugno fights I've seen is that they're both baring their teeth. Amicus does it in a way that I've never seen before, not even when he was furious. It's vicious, feral, like I've seen wolves do in nature documentaries. Then they clash. It's so fast that I'm not able to tell who moved first, but one moment they're several feet apart, and the next their paws are clasped together while their jaws snap in the air, both going for the other's throat. Glistening stands of saliva go flying as they both bite and block with their teeth, ears pin back, making hoarse, angry barking and growling sounds. It's something that I've never seen Adastra wolf do, not even in their fake dramas. This feels raw and instinctual, like it's a part of them, something they try to conceal, only to come up to the surface when they're trying to kill. I find myself hugging my chest, feeling as if my heart might explode as I watch Amicus, trying to see if he's hurt. I hear a solid throck of teeth on teeth. It might only have lasted a few seconds, I can't tell, but finally Amicus pulls back and Kato suddenly lunges for the wolf's neck. Time seems to slow, and for a moment I start to think about what I'm going to do if I lose him. But then Kato's open, fang-filled maw drops down, and so does the rest of him as Amicus sweeps his leg with a powerful kick. Kato goes down hard on his side right in front of me, wheezing before Amicus jumps on him, landing on the older wolf with his knees and a fist to the face. Kato doesn't even seem to notice that though, as he immediately grabs onto Amicus, their paws scrabbling at each other as they both try to find a hold. They are at a stalemate for a while, each one failing to find a good grip as they both twist and turn over each other, making snarling sounds all the while. At some points, I have trouble discerning the two, their legs and arms seeming to bend together as they grip around the other's body. All I know is that they tend to be very short, but it's already felt like an eternity. Suddenly, I'm able to tell them apart as Kato locks Amicus' right arm in a shoulder lock. While I've seen it done before, usually to get the other opponent to tap out, Kato immediately goes all the way and the quiet of the early evening is shattered with a massive pop and crunching sound. Amicus screams and I find myself standing without even realizing it. It takes everything I have not to jump in right now, even as Kato leans into the hold, causing Amicus to convulse from the pain. Then Kato lets go and my wolf curls over into his side, shaking violently, loosely holding his arm with his other paw. I want to go to him, but Kato is already there, pushing the younger wolf over into his back.
I should have done this a long time ago, Pup.
Amicus tries to fight back with his good arm, even his legs, trying to lock his ankles around Kato's neck, but the old wolf straddles Amicus' waist before slamming a fist hard into his nose. There's a softer crumbling sound this time, and Amicus immediately goes limp, eyes vacant, paws falling to his side. I knew Kato was too skilled for Amicus, but for some reason I thought...
These are the events that shall happen. You are on the right path.
But am I? Bo! Neferu whispers hurriedly at me. Kato hits Amicus again, even though the other wolf has stopped moving, and Amicus jerks under the weight of the slightly larger wolf. Bo, you must run! Kato likely doesn't know that you're here! Amicus' eyes are half closed, unaware of his last moment as Kato pushes his rear down to the wolf's thighs, giving him room to reach Amicus' neck. Run to the city! To the woods! Anywhere! I shake my head silently. Was this really meant to happen? Why was I put in this path if it ended in my wolf's death? Why aren't the parents helping me? Huh? At that moment, the light of the setting sun catches something shiny to my left. I look over and I'm almost blinded by the brilliant reflection of Vita's light on the blade of the dagger. The one that Kato had set aside after almost executing Neferu. Red and blue jewels decorating the handle while the gold blade shines brighter than any metal I've ever seen before. The rules don't matter. Robotically, I lean over the aisle and grab the dagger by the handle. Bo? I ignore Neferu, and at the same time I see Virginia directly across from me. Her eyes are wide and she's standing too, but instead of looking at the fight, at Kato's jaws coming closer and closer to Amicus' neck, she's instead looking at me and pointing. She's pointing right at Kato, silently encouraging me to do what I'm about to do. But I don't need encouragement. The rules don't matter. I jump from my seat, the distance so little that I come down practically on top of the wolves. At the same time, I raise the dagger in both hands over my head and bring it down as hard as I can into Kato's back. As if in slow motion, I feel the blade slide into my target, very easily at first, like cutting through butter. Then suddenly, I feel something hard, and then there's an odd muffled stutter sound of friction as the blade slows considerably. It continues to sink through, in sudden bursts for a few inches at a time, and it's only when the hilt reaches Kato's fur that I realize that I've cut deep into bone. A rib maybe. Kato howls, suddenly arcing back, and I can only hope that I was fast enough that he wasn't able to sink his teeth into Amicus' neck. I'm not finished though, and I tug once, then twice, before I'm finally able to wrench the blade out of the bone. For that split second, Kato begins reaching back awkwardly, unable to find my weapon before I've drawn it back again, above my head just before bringing it back as hard as I can into the right side of Kato's neck, just at the base. This time the blade sinks in easily, once again all the way to the hilt. I yank it back once more, intent to plunging it in again, but finally Kato turns on me, blindly swinging his paws out. His fingers find my right forearm as I'm raising the blade once again, and he takes a tight hold. Bow! His exclamation is part astonishment, part fury. His other paw finds the dagger, and even though I try to hold on to it, he slides it out of my hand with ease, even though he's holding onto the blade's end. Blood is everywhere at this point, and I can only hope that it's only Kato's. I start to back away, trying to look down at Amicus to see what's happening to him, but that's when Kato swings at me again. I feel air tickle my neck and chin, and for a moment I think I dodged his swing. But then I see that he's holding out the blade, out to his right after having swung it at me. Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. I look down and I see a sudden spurt of blood, splattering on the stones below me, then another spurt, then another. I step back again and gasp, and when I do, it feels like the air is coming in from two places at once, and I cough as something liquid goes down my throat the wrong way. Again, I gasp, and this time I hear a bubbling sound from my throat, and I finally understand what's happened as I raise my hand to my neck, stumbling and then falling. I expect to slam back against the stone seats, but instead it's against something furry and warm. I look up and see Neferu sitting over me as he'd moved to catch me with a slap. He's staring at me with a look of horror in his face. Bo! He looks up. Amicus! Amicus, wake up and help him! I frown, still worried about Kato, and sure enough, as I look forward, I see the false emperor on one knee, clasping his neck, bleeding just as much as I am. His ears are perked forward, toward Neferu's voice, and I see him start to make his way toward us.
Kimion.
The wolf's eyes are wild, furious, focused in the direction of Nefero. He seems to have already forgotten me, even as he seems to realize that he's dying.
You caused this!
I feel that those words, you and this, carry much more meaning for Kato than I could ever hope to know. It's a strange moment as I lay in Nefero's lap, bleeding out. I suppose I knew Kato blamed the chemios for most of his problems, for most of the problems in the Empire. He tried to hide it by pretending to give Amicus a fair shot at the emperorship. As that slowly unravels, his intention became clear, and so did his insanity. He intends to kill Nefero to completely kill any chance of an alliance, even if it means the complete destruction of the Wolven Empire. Somehow, that's a risk worth taking for Kato. The old wolf draws closer, practically crawling now, leaving heavy splatters of blood across the ground. He weakly raises the dagger, and I feel Nefero tense up behind me, probably getting ready to roll out of the way, but then something wraps around Kato's neck. With a gargled choke, Kato is pulled back by Amicus, before being body slammed to the ground. Then Amicus is on the old wolf, muscle against the neck, tearing it apart. I stare in shock, and then look down, away from the horror that I'm seeing. And that's when I see myself covered in blood. So much blood. My entire naked torso is painted red, and more of it continues to pour over my chest in waves, though it's less than the initial spurts that I've seen when I was standing up. I raise my hands to my neck, still feeling that strange cold feeling reaching deep into my throat, like everything is open and exposed to the air. I try to talk, to tell Nefero that I need help, but only a raspy, bubbling hiss comes out of my neck. I look up, seeing Nefero looking down at me. I suppose it would be pretty shocking to see a friend with his neck open, dying in your lap. Am I dying? I try to cover my neck again, but the gash is so deep. It feels like if I lean too far back, my head will just flop over onto my back. Vaguely, I hear Amicus' snarling sound, along with Kato raspy screaming, sounding just like me when I was trying to talk. The edges of my vision start to go blurry and black, and Nefero's face starts to fade away. Then suddenly, there's a big shift, and I wake back up, this time finding Amicus looking down at me. Oh no, Amicus! An overwhelming sense of relief comes over me. I do get to see my wolf after all. I smile up at him, even as he stares at me with a look of complete and utter devastation. No, please, no, get Felix, Virginia, tell Alice to go get Felix! His tears start to fall on my face, and I reach up, trying to brush them away like he's done from me a few times. He catches my hand before I can though, pressing it back to my neck. You're going to be fine, you're going to be fine, it's not bad. I actually chuckle a little at that because this is very bad. And I can tell without even being able to see it. I see the edges of my vision blurring again, and my eyes seems to try to roll upward again on their own, but Amicus gives me a little shake, and that brings me back for a moment. Hey, you stay here, okay? You stay here with me, okay, yeah? I nod deliriously, the overwhelming feeling of calm and warmth keeping me happy and full of love, even though I know what's about to happen to me. I'm here. I try to speak, but it only sends more bubbling blood out of my neck. No, you don't need to talk, I have you. How unfair. My last moment, and I can't even tell my wolf that I love him. I reach up with my free hand, setting it gently against Amicus' face. I caress his cheek softly, knowingly, and though he holds it against his face with his own free paw, he shakes his head at me. Stop that, you're going to be fine. Felix will heal you. You will rest in my room. I'll take you to the island. I'll take you to the city. We'll be happy. We will grow old together. The tears start spilling over again, and I try to keep the smile on my face, to show Amicus that I'm okay, that I'm happy, that this is all okay. And though his grief is hard to look at, there's nothing I'd rather seeing in the end. My wolf's face, framed by the pinkish red of the sunset. And then my eyes starts rolling back again, and I can't stop them, no matter how hard Amicus shakes me.
Oh no! Please! Don't leave me here! Please come back to me! You can't leave me to be all alone like this!
I'm here.
No, speak to me!
I'm staying with you.